You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. Alright, so let's do a quick unboxing and see what we're getting with this. Because it's always the question, is it any good? Particularly when it comes to the Sega Genesis. Because the overall, let's say, emulation or the way how these things work don't have the best overall emulation, or at least kind of an emulation performance. So there's some screen protector or something kind of at the front, because this thing looks kind of weird. Yep, there we go. But the overall quality feels kind of legit. One of the things I really love about this already is that having the Y and Z button on top. And both of them have like this trigger thing going on, and it's absolutely feeling great. So the D-pad, the same thing. It's not the same the D-pad like the controllers, but this thing does have a very nice touch. A, B, X, Y, select start, and the reset button. At the bottom we're finding all of the connections for just a normal, let's say, controller. And what is interesting, these things are wireless, so they automatically connect to this. Yeah, it will indicate player 2 and player 1, but we'll show this later on, how is the quality itself. But at the bottom part we do have more functionality. Over here having the different regions. Over here you can switch between the OG or the NP over here. So it's kind of interesting. So with these, let's say, European and Japan and American, let's say, different games, you can actually play everything on this so far. And later on we're also going to be testing different kind of cartridges. And it seems to be like the Joy, I'm guessing this is the joystick that you can turn on and off if you want to use the wireless or the original connection, volume control and headphone jack out. I do wonder with this device, is it going to be the Sega Nomad like killer, or is it going to be the replacement? That is of course one of the things I'm basically looking into this video. Okay, so the first thing is like, how will the cartridges fit in here? So the dust cover is thin plastic. You can see that it's bent a little bit when you're going to be pushing it in, but just wanted to say that at first. So let's click it in and let's see. It does click in perfectly. Let's get it out. This is an original cartridge, of course. Oh man. Just wiggle it a little bit, but it's okay, it's okay. So next thing, we're going to have like a homebrew game, some Chinese clone thing. Alright, we get out a little bit easier. Let's grab a Mega Drive or an Everdrive thing. Same thing. So if you're going to be combining this, it would be like the ultimate device. You can play actually so far almost everything beside 2D2 Wix. And of course, let's see, can we use this with the Xeno Crisis also, like starting off with that game. See, that clicks in perfectly. Okay, you don't need to be careful, you don't need to be afraid or being careful that you're going to be bumping it. That's something I'm going to be testing out. Let's power it on. Does it boot up? Bitmap Euro. There we go. Ooh, that doesn't sound that great. Let's clean up the display. Let's see what happens. Okay. So if you're going to be bumping it, it's not going to be a problem whatsoever. So that's absolutely great. Okay, I do wonder, it's like, how does this actually play? So it's not the most comfortable device that I've seen, but okay, that's kind of funny. So it recognizes the 6-button configuration. Okay, this is a very strange way to play. Need to get used to this, but so far it seems to be working just fine. Okay. I can tell you that it's quite comfortable to play this thing. But the configuration of the button is completely strange, because normally you were using the 4-bit, the ABCX for actually navigating the character to shoot in a certain direction. Now you need to search which button you need to choose. No, but let's try a different game and let's see how that runs. Okay, so what is actually a major problem with these devices is that virtual racing with the special chip in here doesn't being recognized by the system. Let's double check. We can put it on PAL to be sure over here. Okay, so let's reset it. Maybe this is the... No, this is not the case at all. You know, that's the problem with these things. We don't have any special ways to play these virtual racing games beside having, I think, an original Sega Nomad. Okay, so next up let's try out the Sonic 3 Knuckles, and yep, it does recognize multi-combination cartridges, so this is absolutely great. Okay, it sounds completely off, and this is something to do. Okay, you can see a lot of glitching going on. This has to do of the problem with the region we're having over here. So we need to set it to the... Let's see if there's going to be any improvement over there. But I can tell you already that the audio is not like it's supposed to be. Nope. Oh, that works so much better. So you need to be careful with the region stuff. But you can just hear the audio. Not doop 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 doop. Nope, doesn't sound like it's supposed to be. But when it comes to, let's say, the gameplay itself, it's not bad itself. No. So that sound is kind of weird. What I love about it is the D-pad feels very responsive. Yeah, no problem there. So when it comes to this is absolutely great. I already noticed when wiggling this machine with the two cartridges, can sometimes give a problem, but did have a problem that it reset it before, but so far no problem whatsoever. So when it comes to the gameplay and the multi-cartridges, or at least multiple, let's say, cartridges implemented, it seems to be working just fine. Alright, so we do have the message, so this is a great indication to see if this thing actually works with different regions. So let's put this thing on the PAL, let's give it a reset, and let's see if it's going to be booting up. And there we go. So when it comes to the region, it seems to be working just fine. The only thing I just wanted to see if this D-pad is compatible with fighting games. So this is not going to be any problem whatsoever, because I love to play shmups and fighting games, as many of you know. And if you don't know, now you know. Alright, so let's see if the 6 button has been configured. Yeah, the D-pad is perfect for fighting games. Absolutely great. Recording for this thing is going to be difficult due to, let's say, the display that's in here, but yeah, this is great, man. Absolutely. Let's see, where is my kick? There we go. So when it comes to the overall performance of the D-pad, I am very surprised, and I can tell you, pleasantly surprised. Go away, Zangief. There we go. Woo! So when it comes to also the cartridges like Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter 2, this seems to also be working great. So the next thing I was wondering is, like, can we actually use the Everdrive? But somehow, let's push the SD in, let's push this thing in, it fits in very well, but somehow it doesn't do anything. That's kind of weird. Alright, so let's blow this thing out. Let's blow it. And let's see if that helped. Normally I never need to blow this thing, but nope. It seems to be that an Everdrive is not compatible with this thing. Then is the next question, how is it when it comes to a multi-game card? Okay, that's interesting that also the multi-game cards don't boot up. Normally they will always boot up and having no problem whatsoever. So let's put it in a different region if this has any effect. We do have the blue screen now, but this is very strange. What the heck is going on? That is absolutely one huge disappointment, that we don't have the option for an Everdrive or putting in a multi-game card. Okay, so another weird thing is going on over here. So here you can just see you having the message that this thing is supported for the PAL system. That has been set to. Okay, so I was thinking, you know what? So it has been set to Japan and the NTSC, but let's put in an O. And let's see what happens. Let's turn it on off. I think that is going to be working so much better. So it's kind of a hassle when you're going to be messing around with the different, let's see, regions sometimes, especially with the homebrew one. But the reason I wanted to check this out, I just wanted to check it out if this overall, let's say, gameplay is great and how is the music of Street of Rage, because that's one of those music I can just stream, man. Yeah, I can tell you already that it is not like it's supposed to be. Particularly listening to the audio. You can just, like, the weird sound effects you normally hear only in the background, they're quite loud now. So when it comes to that, no, this is not the best overall experience. Okay, so let's move on to the television. Let's pause this thing, let's plug it in, and let's see what happens if you're going to be plugging this thing into your television or HDMI monitor, because it doesn't matter. If it has an HDMI port, you can just plug it in. And you can just see how bad the display is. It's really bad. I just wanted to see what happens if you're going to be plugging this thing straight into your monitor. And it goes a little bit of an apeshit when it comes to the display itself, but then after, let's say, a couple of seconds, it will automatically get into, let's say, the TV out mode. So you don't need to reset it. And to give you an example, this thing just have a green screen. Just going to plug it out. Let's see what happens if you're going to be doing that. And it goes back to the Handheld itself, or do we actually need to have a reset? Yeah, I can tell you that it doesn't really like what I'm doing over here, so let's plug this thing back in. And let's see if it goes back to the display again. No, it doesn't work anymore. So, oh, no, it does go there. Oh. Now you can just actually hear how bad it is. Oh, that audio, my ears are bleeding, this is really bad. But let's take a close look at the controls, and the way how this actually works is quite genius. So if you're going to be slapping the batteries in, there is no on and off switch, you need to use the play 1 or the P1, and it automatically connects. You know the switch that we have on the machine itself, we don't need to actually use it, because here you can just see I can just actually use the controls on here and the wireless. So I already mentioned before, it's like the controls feel really cheap, and this is not a pleasant experience. But I do wonder when it comes to, let's say, plugging in the controller. So let's check out what happens if you're going to be plugging in a controller itself. And I mean, when it comes to an original controller, you can also hear there is an interference throughout, let's say, the HDMI connection. So let's plug in the original controller. And do you know what's kind of funny? It's like we didn't disable the one on the system itself. So we can just use the wireless version. We can use the one on the system itself. The only thing I did notice, like we use the D-pad without any problem, but the only button that is configured is my super button. Okay, so let's see what happens if you're going to be plugging this thing into a different mode. So we're disabling this. No, it doesn't help anyway. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the controller itself. Oh, it's the controller itself. Oh. Oh, that's an epic fail, absolutely. Wicked epic fail. I need to clean the controller. Okay, but the conclusion is basically we can use this. Doesn't matter what kind of controller, you can just plug it in, use the wireless version, everything seems to be working. You don't need to disable one on the Handheld itself.